Folks, we're back, and Bauce Man was so good I had to have him back for another go. It's turning into the Bauce Man show. We're going to have a playlist of his vlogging exploits. Heck, he might even... something will happen based on this. But I don't want to do too much of that. I want to... First of all, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. You know, it's been a nice summer. Over the past weekend, just had a family reunion, so a lot of people flew in. A lot of good grub, good barbecue, some libation, definitely some spirits in the air and everything. So, you know, I'm feeling the up and up. Training camp, as you know, already started. We got a preseason game on Friday. So, you know, all Raider folks like myself up here in the Bay Area and around the world are very excited.
Yeah, hey, so I got to say one thing about family reunions. Isn't it great just to know how you're connected with people?
You know, especially when you get the stories from people. My family, you know, is originally from the South. And when they came over to West Oakland in the 50s, like a lot of black people working on the docks or what have you, you just hear about them coming with nothing and making something out of nothing. You pretty much start looking at yourself, I have no excuse to not do something with myself. So it's always good to get around those people. That it's a motivational type of thing. It's good to see the young kids come up behind me because I remember when I was running around at those family events too, getting in trouble, you know, messing over food, spilling drinks. I mean, the same stuff, you know, it goes in cycles. So that stuff is always good to see.
Wait. Did your kids mess off?
Actually, she was good. Good.
Nice.
The kids are good. I really couldn't complain. I was expecting, you know, I might take off my belt. You know, it's like I used to get at these family reunions, but nah, none of that even happened.
Nice. Hey, so let's talk about this reason I asked us to get together, and that was a very good interview by John Ralston in Nevada with Clark County Commissioner and Southern Nevada Tourism Infrastructure Committee Commissioner, or committee member. It's not a commission, so you can't be a commissioner. Steve Sisolak this Saturday, August 6th, where the commissioner said, among other things, that if he had to bet on a deal for Raiders Las Vegas Stadium, he wouldn't do it. Am I speaking out of turn?
No, that sounds pretty accurate.
What do you think about the interview? From your perspective?
Well, I got to tell you one thing I did like. I like how immediately Mr. Ralston was just going at him. He's coming with his spear, his knife, and his shield, and everything attacking, because there are a lot of questionable things, a lot of holes in this whole saga. I mean, it's been rushed. You have the public financing aspect. They don't know what site. And then you had Sisolak, who sounded positive, then at times he curbed it with some negativity as well, some pessimism, if you will. So it's kind of got you thinking, if you're somebody who's supporting them going to Vegas, all right, what's going on? You know, before, the Riviera site might be good to have a convadium kind of idea like they have in San Diego. You had Trop 42, which seemed, in their minds, the best site. Now UNLV's all but scrapped off the table. I mean, you had the Russell Road, the Wild Wild West site, many other sites. Cashman Field down, I guess in downtown Las Vegas, close to North Las Vegas. So, you know, I always link it to like this. Back, you know, if somebody's single, if you're dealing with like 5 different women, you can't focus on one, you know, so.
Well, you starting to soften it up on us? You want the Raiders in Vegas?
Well, no, I'm not saying that, but I'm just trying to go from a logical standpoint. You know,
being a politician,
how the process needs to go, though. There's certain steps. You know this. You've been in city planning. There's certain, we have this option here, we have that. Well, you're not focusing. So I don't see any focus yet. Now, with the interview talking about the Bali Hai site, maybe they're starting to get to a point of focus, but still, I don't know, because the last 2 meetings, they were making it seem like they were going to get to something. Then they asked for an extension, and then Stephen Hill, commissioner as well, and on the SNTIC board, was like, "Hey, we need to get some progress in the next month, or we're in trouble." And in that interview with Ralston, Sisolak is still worrying about them running out of time. These things take time. Yeah. I mean, anybody who's bought a house or anything like that, a car, let's just say a house. Let's go on a house. That stuff takes time. It's not, like I said, it's not like going to the grocery store and buying a Snicker bar.
Yeah, this process alone takes a year and a half, generally. And they're trying to do what is normally done in a year and a half in, let's see, well, April 28th technically leads into May. So let's say May, June, July, August, September. That's 5 months. So basically, they're trying to do what normally is done in 12, 18 months in 5 months. That's the problem. Including negotiation, you just can't do it because it's the problem is that there's always something in planning, particularly with a large development project, that you didn't anticipate. And it's not just that you didn't anticipate it, but to fix it generally causes a whole number of steps that take more time that you didn't plan for. So, to me, someone was absolutely certain that the Bali Hai site was, And what do you think about that site, by the way?
Okay, so if you look on Google Earth, you look at how the Trop 42 site is kind of adjacent, kind of to where the runway's at, leaving. I guess when you're taking off. Yeah. Now, and flying in, the Bali Hai site is kind of in the same trajectory as that. Would kind of at the corner of it, though. Now they're saying they put it at the northern part of that site, over, I guess, closer to where Russell Road or that area where it'd be at. But then I look at it, you have to do a lot of infrastructure work, which is causing problems with the other sites. Traffic, they claim that traffic is going to be, I guess, a lot of the concerns will be mitigated, but coming off the freeway, if you're not going to do substantial, infrastructural work, you're going to have to be getting off and getting onto Las Vegas Boulevard to park inside. And if you try to get down south, down Las Vegas Boulevard to 215, there's a mini mall development type thing going on around there. That's going to jam up the traffic even more. So I just don't know why people are thinking by the Strip or on the Strip is ever a good idea. It's not a good idea. Vegas has grown. We can admit that it has grown since, let's say, 2000, but you still have traffic issues, even if it's just a normal weekend in the summer. Still traffic issues. So you really think with 65,000 people with tailgating space or what have you, you think that's not going to be an issue? I mean, Mark Bedane said at the last meeting that he's done a traffic study or what have you, which he has not produced yet. I'm really wondering what that traffic... Done it. Yeah, I want to know what that traffic study really looks like, though, because I'm really thinking that it's going to be fudge. It's going to be... You can have any consultant, and you said this before on videos, a consultant can say anything because that's what you pay him to do. So how do we know we really get any factual information from the Raiders? Because if you guys live out here like me, you guys know for years the Raiders have always played with deceit and played with a crooked hand.
Hey, what do other Raider fans say? Because you're around a lot more Raider fans than I am by far. What do Raider fans say about this in general? To what you've heard.
And that's the thing. Well, people up here in Northern California, let's just put it for lack of a better, they're pissed. They're ticked off. They're offended. They're insulted. Insulted by a guy saying he would unite the fan base on one hand a month or two ago. Then in Napa recently, he's fine with dividing the fan base. He told a personal friend of mine, Godfather Grizz Jones, he's fine with doing that. So that upset a lot of people. That upset the people who were there, who actually got to see it live and direct. Even people the day I was there on Saturday that were upset with his attitude and his blase, like, oh, whatever, you'll be back type of attitude. Come on, man. This is the Bay Area, though. This is not a place where we're going to be doing too much skissing, if you know what I mean. Right, this is not the place for it.
What?
So... But outside of that, you have people who might be in LA or be in Colorado, like you, Stacanova, and other places that have no idea what's going on here. Don't even talk to politicians or local people around here that don't mind going there because they have some problem with Oakland. Deep down they have some type of stereotypical issues with the minorities that are here in the East Bay. And
it's called racism.
Scary. Yeah, it's definitely that, though. I'll call it out for what it is.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different attitudes when it comes to this. I think people do want a new stadium, but at the cost of leaving your home base, the people up here are definitely not for it. Forget about it. I'm not. And he knows it because he sat next to me when I was talking to George Atkinson just about things, and he looked like he wanted to say hi to me. I turned my back on him. That's how much I think of him. I turned my back on him. Because I promised everybody I wasn't going to act up there. People were expecting me to act up. no, I'm not going to do all that and get thrown out or all that stuff. That's a long ass ride back back to the 510 from Napa or whatever.
Sure is.
Especially when I had some libation. I had me about 5 or 6 Tom Collins that day, so I was feeling real good, but I wasn't going to act up. But instead of just getting into it with them, turn my back. I don't have time for you.
Did he say
Simple as that.
Did he say hello, or did he try to? He being Mr. Davis, did he?
He looked like he kind of opened his mouth, and I could tell. You understand people's body language, and you've been around as many people as I have been. I understand he wanted to say something because he shook my hand at the Leafs meeting. You remember at the Leafs meeting or Leafs press conference? He came up and shook my hand and stuff and said he's going to try to get something done, which he never really ever tried because he was talking to Vegas then and there. I just turned my back on him. I didn't want to give him the time of day. Let you and George Jackson talk about the night before while George eating breakfast because you guys were laughing it up, yucking it up. I'm not going to get involved in that. I got a lot of respect for George Atkinson, so I'm not going to get involved like that. You go ahead and do your thing. You're going to get yours in due time, buddy. That's how I feel. In due time.
When in the context of that, where do you place Ronnie Lott?
This is funny. Everybody who knows me knows I got a certain type. You know it too. A certain type of angst for the 49er franchise and everything. West Coast offense. I got my own opinion. Me and you've gone back and forth about it. I'm not big on them. But then at the same time, Ronnie Lott is a guy who, for the better part of the last 30 years, pretty much spent a lot of time in the Bay Area. He loves the Bay Area. He loves, the Sharks. He's at the A's games. He does a lot of work with people that we don't even know about.
He did play for the Raiders.
Excuse me?
He did play for the Raiders.
Yeah, he played for the LA Raiders. Nah, he did play for the Raiders. I mean, I'm just joking. I know the LA people are going to go crazy right now. But he did play for the Raiders, and he grew up loving Jack Tatum. He always loved the Oakland Raiders, so I'm not going to go hard on my man like that, especially since he really wants to keep the team there because he sees the value in this area. Like a lot of smart app businessmen with some acumen to their whole program knows that this is a very valuable place. The real estate, the way how the economy is, how things are just changing. They're doing a complete 180 from what they were in the 90s when the Raiders first came back here. He understands that this place is not a gold mine. It's just platinum all around here. So for somebody to say that Oakland cannot give the Raiders anything is totally crazy and actually irresponsible to even say that because you're not doing the homework and you're not checking the facts. You're thinking about Oakland back when Too Short was rapping and MC Hammer was big back in the early 90s. That's not the case anymore. It's not.
Oh, Too Short just said, "Hey man, I'm still alive."
Oh, Too Short's the man. No, that's my favorite guy ever. I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying. Oh boy!
I had to smooth that one in a little bit.
Don't get me in trouble with Short Dog.
No,
Come on,
no. Short Dog, we love you. If you're watching this, and it's a good possibility you'll see it. We love you. You are Oakland to us. MC Hammer as well. Although Hammer owns a phone call, but that's another story. Hey, getting back to this, I'll tell you, I want to get something off my chest. And what bothers me is how the media has been manipulated in all of this. And, I mean, let's take the Bali Hai site. Someone on Facebook sent a message saying, oh, it's already a done deal with the FAA is a formality, it's a process. Look, what bothers me is that I don't bet large-scale development planning on a guess or a come or process. The bottom line is you're not going to convince a jurisdiction like the FAA that when I'm flying in and out of my left window, if I'm coming in, out of my left window I see this active football stadium, all this jazz going on, that's not a distraction. And that doesn't impact my avionics because it's so close. That doesn't make any sense. And so I'm not willing to believe anything that anybody tells me until the FAA officially, by a letter, an identifiable person with a phone number, signs off on building a football stadium there. I don't care where that thing is located on that site. And the reason why I say that is for this. The difference between the Tropicana site and the site and the Bali Hai site is that the Tropicana site was the focus of football stadium before, and it was nixed for the reasons we're talking about. That's documented. This site that's owned by Bill Walters, who's a gambling celebrity, has never been considered for football. But my point is that you've got all of these people that are just saying things not to be right. They're saying it out of faith. And also they're saying it to make sure there's content out there that makes you think this is going to happen. Also, they can get a positive vote or recommendation from the SNTIC. And that includes Las Vegas Sands. And I can say this now, I filed a complaint with the Ethics Commission. And I believe the Ethics Commission tanked on this one, deliberately. I think that when they looked at that and said, oh, well, okay, yeah, the Chairman Sisolak and Mayor Goodman, they have their notices of what they receiving as donations, but this is a specific, obvious conflict of interest which the law deals with. But they just tanked on it. I have 2 questions outstanding. The Ethics Commission hasn't even touched, and it's been a week. Okay, so. And then they say, okay, is this supposed to be confidential? Well, stuff like this isn't supposed to be confidential. So it's all set up so that people can run a sneaky little game, or try to. And that's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. But my point is, I just really get tired of this dishonest media that's out there, and I wish people would state where they're coming from. I've been absolutely honest in saying I want the Raiders to stay in Oakland. Period. That is my objective. So have you. But the other folks, it's like, and some people, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, I definitely do. I mean, this whole thing with the media, ever since this whole relocation thing started with LA, they've been non-truthful, and Oakland's always not doing something. Always not doing something. It's like I said at the town hall meeting last October, it's as if you guys are just trying to promote extortion of people, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You look at the trend. Back in the day, it used to be 100% all venues were financed. Then that started changing. People started to get wise to the scam. You have Neil DeMasi, a field of schemes, whatever, and other people talking about the scam. Even in this particular case, of it pretty much being a scam, because if it defaults, because banks and bonds are all involved in this, if it defaults, who's holding the bag?
They are.
It's not the tourists that are going to hold the bag. It's people of Clark County.
Yeah. And not only that, that's the thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because, and I hate to say this, but it's a fact. If they float a bond issue and they rest on hotel tax revenue to that degree, they are one terrorist act away from a bond default. Because look what's happening with France. Tourism has gone down in France because of all the terrorist attacks. So here we come. You want to scare people into not going to Vegas, and that will happen because you have all these other casinos, nearby now. It's not like it used to be, right? 20 years ago, we didn't have casinos in Illinois or any place else. I hate to say it, but it's a fact. It's a fact. So why I don't understand why they think it's so necessary to stick their ass out there and say, okay, kick it. Because that's what they're going to do.
Period. And the thing is, and yes, I'm biased, I want to be in Oakland, but here's my problem. This is for everybody. And I kept saying I don't think St. Louis should have had to pay any money. LA surely didn't. I don't think this new ballpark in Arlington they're trying to propose, they shouldn't have to pay. Why are you paying if there's going to be no ROI, no return on your investment? Because as you know a lot of deeper the inner workings going on more than me around here. The city was offering $300, $400 million. Yeah, we can help the Raiders, but we have to get something in return. And we know Mark Verdane and Mark Davis, because of their bad business acumen and for the franchise really not being rich like the other franchises, said no. So why, if me and you gonna go into business right now, Zenny, and I put in, let's just say $50,000, I don't get a return on that. I just get the fact, say my name is on something. Is that worth anything for me if I'm talking about doing business? I'm just doing it on a simplistic level. So just think about it on a higher level. Why would they do that if they can't get any return? I can't get the concession, the tickets, the merchandise, even on non-game day activity for the parking. That's just not even right. So when people say Oakland's not doing anything, Oakland has went through so many different options. Whereas you look in Vegas, the Raiders and Sands Majestic or whoever are bending over backwards doing somersaults and flips just for trying to get this stadium. And they're trying, as my good friend Ed Toomey says, they're throwing darts at a dartboard right now. They're hoping the wall is Velcro. They're hoping something sticks. Because I think if this Bali Hai site does not work, what's the other options? What are the other options?
Nothing.
They have none.
They got nothing.
This is it. This is fourth down and 15. If they cannot complete this pass, the game is over for them. And then what is Mark Davis going to do?
Well, actually, I take that back. The city of Las Vegas has a site. But see, here's where their own here's where the old politics are going to get them in trouble, because arguably the problem that Vegas has right now is Clark County is where the Strip is, right?
Yeah.
Not Vegas. A lot of people don't know that.
It's paradise, yeah.
But it's so chock full of development that it's difficult to build something here the size of a football stadium without impacting somebody's traffic or, the FAA issues with the airport, because it's all so jammed together. But if you go downtown, it makes more sense, even though it's a long way away, because it's blighted, there are more opportunities, yada, yada, yada. But the Clark County politicians don't want to give up their golden goose for Las Vegas, is really what the issue is. So you've got Steve Sisolak, who's saying, the governor, the mayor's doing her thing, but he wants to run for governor, right? He said so.
He pretty much said that, yeah.
Yeah. So it's hilarious to watch these folks start to climb all over themselves in the way that they're starting to display. But what I get upset with in terms of the Raiders is the Raiders have done nothing to try to build a stadium in Oakland, and they haven't hired architects. They haven't done anything. And whereas the Chargers have done things down in San Diego, but the Raiders have no excuse. It really is their fault. They keep pointing at the city. I was on the Dellums task force. I told Nate Miley in '97 we needed a new stadium. We had a proposal in 2003, which became Coliseum City. Anyway, the Raiders have done nothing.
They have more excuses than a guy going to jail, man. I'm telling you, it's all the time with them. Parking, ingress, egress. I don't want to play the construction zone. You just recently showed the Atlanta Stadium, the Mercedes-Benz, whatever this place will be now. It's construction zone, and the Falcons are playing right next door. I remember the Broncos when they got the new Mile Low Field or whatever in Fesco. When they got that, they were playing the construction zone. It's always an excuse with this guy.
Yep.
I can at least respect it if he was just honest. Let's be flat out honest. Stop lying and playing both sides of the fence, though. I can't stand a fence straddling joker, though. I can't stand them because they don't stand for anything at all, and he doesn't. Or who owns the land? Okay, so let's say, Ronnie, because there's an MOU, obviously, that's out there now with Ronnie Lott in the city. Say, just like you said, in a few days or a few weeks, a land deal comes about. What's he going to do?
The 15th of August is another week from today. Keep that in mind.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just saying a few weeks.
That's not mid-August. This week is not mid-August. It's next week.
I mean, 7 days come by fast, though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so does death and taxes, but,
Yeah, so I agree with you, but I digress. But now, seriously, though.
Yeah.
If there's a land deal, because he did tell some guy named Lorenzo Lerma of the Bakersfield chapter who's a booster or what have you, said there's a land deal that changes everything. Well, the land deal is going to happen, everybody. I'm going to tell you that right now. A land deal is going to come about. Then Marcus Bluff's going to be called because I have to just think logically. The NFL sees the MOU. They see there's money and good, solid banks backing this project, and the land deal and all the politics with it are now not an issue. What's he going to do?
But don't expect a press conference for that land deal. It'll be a leak because they're not about holding media things for any of this process. Stuff has been quiet. You notice that?
Yeah, because they've done media stuff before, and what has it gotten them?
Nowhere.
Nothing.
No.
And whereas you see Carson, you see Las Vegas now, it's all media. I mean, you had Andy Aboud June 17th of this year claiming that the next meeting that they're going to have a site and all the stuff down. And look where we're at. We're about to be in mid-August next week.
Cole bought it.
Oh, you're gonna get on Jason, dog, man. Jason was cool. I met him last week, man, at Zachary's, man. Hey, man, he's cool. Huh?
He bought the pizza?
Yeah, man, we had brews and everything. 510 Sports guy was there, man. We had a good time, man. He good down to earth guy. You know, he's out there just like you are, just like I am. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's all good, but nonetheless,
he owes Jason. You owe me, man.
Steinberg party too, right? But but yeah, most definitely. But still, nonetheless, Andy Aboud's been selling a lot of big dreams, and when I say he's selling what we call around the way wolf tickets, that's what to me he's selling. So here we are coming down to nitty gritty. They have to show something, but they have a long ways away. I mean, the Bali Hai site, 40% of it you can't even use for development because it's right next to the Ralston that I read from last night. So 40% of it can't be used for development. So where are you going to put your TIF, your tax district at, though, to get your money back, to get the return on your investment?
The TIF, the way the Clark County Stadium Authority document is written, the TIF can be established anywhere within the 25-mile zone around the stadium.
That's crazy.
Right. It will make it the most powerful. It's a land grab, okay? This is how it works, all right? This is a land grab. Folks, I want you to understand this. This is how it works. Let's say, right here is the stadium, okay? This is a 25-mile radius. You can establish a tax increment district anywhere along here. Now, the stadium developer and the Clark County representatives both sit on the stadium authority, okay? But the stadium developers get to basically make the call as to what properties to buy. That means Majestic can turn around with land with Las Vegas Sands, and they can design these tax increment zones so that they incorporate, for example, the Venetian. I'm not kidding you. It's written in that to allow that. Okay?
Yeah.
And no one talks about this. This is a freaking land grab.
Weren't they talking about too as well, Vinny? Weren't they talking about a head tax or something? Taxing people who work in the area, or like if you run a concession stand or the athletes, they're trying to tax everybody. I mean, at least Rick Valletta of the Review Journal said I think it's kind of been put on the back burner, but they're looking at different ways to tax it. It just wasn't the tourism tax for the rooms or what have you.
Well, it's sales tax, yeah, special tax. But here's the thing: they don't want to. I mean, the way a tax increment financing district is really done is you use property taxes, okay? And but
they said, but hold on. See, Sisolak said a lot of people would not be for that, or somebody from the board said that'd be not good. And people have called into the radio station and said, if my property taxes go up or whatever, I am not for it. I am adamantly against it. That's a death knell for them, though, if they're trying to get reelected, isn't it?
It would trigger a voter outcry, but it would trigger a voter outcry. But if they had a mix, but see, here's why people don't understand this thing. It's a tax increment district, but you can design it to incorporate your hotel properties and the new properties. It wouldn't impact any homeowners, okay? Now, the fact that people don't understand that would trigger an attempt for a voter initiative. How that would go, I don't know. But So they're trying to keep it clean by just going for the hotel tax. But the other reason they're going for the hotel tax, get this, is because Sheldon Adelson doesn't want the hotel tax used for the expansion of Las Vegas Convention Center. So when they say, oh, we can't use property tax, I think, oh, well, that just kind of gives Sheldon Adelson really what he wants. Is that really true? I don't think so. If they use property tax, they'd get a lot more money, and they'd have a more balanced, source of financings to use, and it'll make a lot more sense. But when they design it the way that they're designing it, I smell politics. Okay, and it's going to fall on its sword for that reason. Hey, we got to wrap up and close because we're at 30 minutes. But you get the parting shot here.
Well, everybody, there's going to be a lot of people that see this in Northern California, Southern California, the East Coast, Midwest. We all going to have our opinions on the stadium issue, but I am excited to see what goes on this season. Starting Friday, you have the Raiders traveling down to go against the defending NFC West champion, Arizona Cardinals. So hopefully everybody's going to be excited and pumped up as I am. Get to your seats early if you got to go to a bar, but be safe driving out there. And let's see what our guys, if they can capitalize on the 79 campaign last year. Jack Del Rio's done a lot to get these guys ready to get them to this point. We got a lot of promising rookies, so I'm excited. So I am going to hold off a tad bit on the stadium stuff. Every now and then I'll be checking in on it, but I really want to enjoy the season because good things should be coming.
We'll be back to see you, my man.
That it? All right, man. You be good.
All right, man.